Let's drop you a little bit there, fella. A little bit more. There we go. Oh, yeah.
Hey guys, Joe here doing a video on some computer tech, and it's not the one that I intended to put up first, but it's the one that's going up first because I did a stupid. So I have this computer that I posted a picture on, and if you go to Instagram, there's a plug for you, to the Jiminy, you will see that I accidentally put the wrong hard drive in it, and I'm updating the games that are on that hard drive since I might as well. In the meantime, let's take a look at the second thing that I was going to do a video on. And that thing is this thing. This is a Asus Ultrabook 15-inch, I believe it's a 15-inch, and it's an older Core i3 model. It has the dual core with hyper-threading, so 4 threads, so it's at least pretty usable. And I got this from my buddy Daniel, the guy I go shooting with, because he didn't need it. I found him a really good ROG computer, and he gave me this one. And I was like, cool. However, it has one major flaw, and I'm going to get you set up, and we are going to take a look at said major flaw. Now that we're set up, let me show you the major problem with this computer. And it even gets a 1-second advantage because I missed the start button. You're starting to see it now. Oh look, we're at the, nope, still not there. It's a nice picture of Taj Mahal. Now technically this system is still booting up, but it did allow this to actually start. So I'm going to call it booted up at 1 minute and 47 seconds. And yeah, it does run a little bit warmer than I would like, although it's much cooler than normal. But if I try to, say, open a browser, you can see how much this thing is struggling right now. So as you can see, the hard disk is completely slammed, and that's causing it to run like poop. However, it's running at less than 5 megs per second, so its performance is pretty darn abhorrent. See what happens if I try to load something right now. You can see by the cursor, it's still loading, and that's really annoying. I'm pretty sure I won't ding myself, but this computer is actually capable of HD playback at full screen playback. It's not dropping frames, it's in HD. So that leads you to wonder, what is this computer's major malfunction? And the computer's major malfunction is the fact that we are in uptime right now of, well, that's not right, but the computer's been loading now for probably 4-5 minutes. Looking at my counter on the camcorder, it's saying that it's been 6 minutes since I started the video, and that means that this thing is still loading in everything. And when you have that situation, everything else about the computer goes. And this is a very usable computer otherwise. It has all the necessary ports and everything to keep it relevant even today. So, what you and I are going to do, if it allows me to, yay! It's actually shutting down. Let's see how long it takes to shut down. Not too bad. I'm going to move you and then we're going to talk a little bit. So as you saw, the main problem with this computer is the fact that it has a super slow hard drive, and it has a 7200 RPM hard drive because I put that hard drive in because the 5400 RPM hard drive was almost twice as long to boot. And well, this is what's going to fix it. Yeah, that's right side up. This is a simple, cheap 120 gigabyte SSD that I got from Micro Center on sale. It was like 18 bucks. And this was like a year and a half ago. This SSD has been in so many different computers that I can't even count. But this is going to make this computer 50 billion times more usable. Slight exaggeration, who knows? Before we tear into it, I will let you know that I did actually double the RAM. It had 4 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM originally. I added another 4 gigabyte stick because this one actually allowed for it, and why not, right? Might as well make something work better. Okay, computer is definitely off. I've taken the battery out. You want to make sure that you discharge it. You never know what the capacitors might be doing in there. So just go ahead and hold down your power button for, 5-10 seconds. You can hold it down longer. It's like planking for your finger. Okay, I'm satisfied that it is discharged. I do still have to take the stickers off the front. They aren't bothering anything, so. As you can see, it does have a cover here that will allow access to the memory, Wi-Fi, and the hard drive. So, taking our iFixit kit, although I've lost like most of my sockets and ends, and take your screwy driver, undo the screwies. I believe these ones come all the way out, but I can't remember, so we'll just keep going until something happens. Yep. Pretty simple on these older ones. There are some companies that could learn from this. So you just remove this back cover. That's shielding to block RF and any other kind of interference. Set that aside, and voila, you have the internals of this laptop. As you can see, it had 2 spots for RAM. This one is underneath the main cover. This was the factory 4 gigabyte stick. This is another 4 gigabyte stick that I had laying around, so I threw it in there, and now we have 8 gigabytes, which is necessary. If you ever need to change your CMOS battery, it's this little wire here. You'd have to follow it up underneath the cover, and right there is your hard drive. It is a mechanical spinning hard drive right now because I was down to 1 SSD and I didn't want to sacrifice it just for the laptop, but now I have extra SSDs again, so let's go ahead and remove this drive. Now, some computers do have the availability to add an SSD or an NVMe or an M.2 underneath it. This is not one of them. It's a little bit older, but as it is, I'm happy with what it has. Now we're going to change the holder over, because why wouldn't you? He says as he thinks about the fact that he put a SSHD into his buddy's gaming laptop and somehow forgot to give him a retaining bracket, probably because the previous owner had taken it out of the computer, and when he put the computer back together, never put it back in. So when I got my hands on it, the whole story. I'll have to get him to give me the laptop for a night so that I can do a review on it. It's a ROG Core i7 with a 980 mobile, and I got him a hell of a deal on it, and he loves it. And he was a Mac guy, so for a Mac guy to jump over, it's pretty good. So it's going to go in this way, right? Yeah. So we want this like this. This is one of the easiest things you can do to a laptop to help extend its usable life. Now, this isn't going to cure all your problems. It's still only an i3 processor, and it has integrated graphics. I think these are 4100 Intel graphics. But you could run an external using the Chinese-made Wi-Fi card replacing. I have one. I don't know where I put it. Adapters. It does have USB 3, but it doesn't have Type-C, so you can't run a enclosure and add a graphics card, which would be cool, but it would also be 4 times, 5 times the cost of this computer just for the enclosure, not counting the graphics card. So In case you can't tell, I'm trying to come up with stuff to say while I'm putting this thing back together. Speaking of getting things, how's that for a segue? Since I'm on the subject of giving you guys information, don't forget to check out my affiliate links. I'll have it in the description down below so that you can pick up an iFixit kit of your own, or an SSD, or even laptops and things that you might need for daily life. It helps the channel grow. Doesn't change anything that you're going to buy, doesn't change the price. You're going to get the same pricing for everything. And I would greatly appreciate it. Also consider getting subscribed wherever the button is. Okay, SSD is installed. We can go ahead and put the back cover back on. And we can put the screws in. And I do know for a fact it will boot fine off of this hard drive, because this hard drive is what was in here, and the hard drive, the spinning hard drive, this one, was cloned from this one. So, like I said, it was a 7200 RPM drive, and it was still slower than snot. Let's go ahead and put the battery back in. You don't actually have to. In some computers, they're so old that the battery pack is dead, but not this one. So go ahead and grab the power cable. Plug her back in. Plug her. Plug her. So we have our power button and our timer. Ready, set, go. Now remember, 147 is the number we need to beat. Shit. Time for round 2. Clock is reset. Computer is ready to fire. Let's go ahead and hit it at the same time. 3, 2, 1, bip. Same exact advantage from last time. Nerve damage. What can you do? As you can see, full functionality. Everything boots right up. I really do think that that speaks for itself. And in case you thought that was a fluke, it's the glory of an SSD, kids. Ready, 3, 2, 1. Okay, well, you know what? Add 2 seconds. This is the important thing right here, guys. In terms of memory, it doesn't use a whole lot of RAM. In terms of CPU, doesn't use a whole lot of CPU. It's a 3217U CPU, by the way. But 20 seconds. We went from 1 minute, 47 seconds, where it hadn't even finished loading everything up yet, to 20 seconds. So as you can see, everything's working better now. So now it's time for the conclusion. And my suggestion to you guys out there is, if you have a computer that's slowing down over time, take a minute and think about what's causing it to slow down before you just throw it away and go and get the newest thing. I have a lot of really good computers. I have less into every computer in my vision right now than most of you probably have into your main rig. And I'm talking pre-built probably. Because people nowadays in our instant gratification society don't want to do the work. Don't want to take the time to diagnose. Don't want to take the time to upgrade. And manufacturers are taking full advantage of that. Razer, Mac, a few other companies, Their laptops, you can't remove the RAM. It's soldered to the motherboard. CPUs, GPUs, I used to understand that. That was something that was, hey, this is intended for X amount of years. But you could usually get by because in a laptop, they're such low power anyways that performance differences aren't huge. RAM is a big deal, especially with like Windows 10 getting more and more bloated as time goes on, and a lot of programs requiring more RAM to run. Chrome is a RAM hog, especially when you have integrated graphics and it's trying to use that to accelerate Chrome, because in case you didn't know, Chrome is hardware accelerated. That it makes it worth upgrading the RAM if possible. And the biggest thing, and I just demonstrated it by going from 1:48 and still loading, it was still locked at 100% usage on the hard drive, and it was for another 5 minutes after that. We were 6 minutes in, it was still locked at 100% usage, to 21 seconds, and the hard drive was idling again. These are fine for mass storage. If you have room for 2 hard drives in your laptop, keep it in there because you can get a higher capacity spinning platter hard drive than you can an SSD. If you only have one spot in your computer like this one, go with an SSD. I know it's annoying to have to clone the drive. There are ways of doing it outside of the computer. If you have a secondary computer that you can take the side panel off of like I do, I have no problem. I have multiple computers that are in parts, so I can just slap them together real quick, slap an SATA drive or a SATA cable and a power cable on here and just transfer all my data. But if not, maybe consider that you just have to do a fresh install of Windows. If spending X amount of dollars for either a gray market key or a real key makes your computer last another year, what is that worth? It's worth a ton. I can take this thing out to the range with me now, throw the SD card in it after filming, verify file integrity, not have to worry about coming home, putting the computer or the camera on my computer and hoping that the footage is still good. I've thrown away that memory card, by the way, because it's failed twice. That alone is worth $40 in fuel, the cost of an SSD, and my time. The para-ordnance range video that I had to drive back out, I spent another $40 in fuel. Well, not $40, I was using a different car, but I spent another probably $30 for the day, plus ammunition and all that good stuff, just to recover footage that I could have verified was corrupted on the day of the original shoot. So, in that respect, this makes more sense. Leave a comment down below. Let me know if you've done anything like this, or if you are one of those folks that has to have the new thing every year. I totally get it. Some people do, and some people can write them off, and that's really awesome. But if you're like me and you need to find ways to continue on with what you have, I applaud you even more. That's it for this video. I have another video on the one behind there. If you go to my Instagram, and I'll link it here now on this channel. Yes, I have an actual Instagram, The Jiminy. I put the wrong hard drive in that computer, so it's not ready to go. It is downloading my Steam library again. I could have just shut it off and put a Steam library drive on it, but I might as well update the drives that I have so I don't have to keep doing it. That video will be coming out after this one, even though it was supposed to come out before this one. But this one's kind of easier, and I've been wanting to get the SSD put in here for a while. So that's about it. If you have any comments, leave those down below. Any questions, leave those down below. Don't forget to get subscribed to my channel. It helps out greatly. Hit the link. Hit the affiliate link down below. Go to Amazon, do your shopping. Helps the channel out as well. If you'd like to do something a little more personal, feel free to email me at thejiminishow@gmail.com. And yeah, let's just continue building this channel so that I can do more fun stuff. I intend to try to build a computer using just the YouTube money this month. It's going to be tight, but I think it's going to work good. And by tight, I mean squeezing pennies till they cry, not yo, tight yo. And, as always, I'll talk to you later.